Hello, Billy the Artist here with a little instructional video about the grids that I use for my drawings. So again, I'm doing these portrait lessons and I've got all the how to draw videos. Before we go any further, please do like and subscribe. Tick the bell to be notified when new how to draw lessons become available. And we can have a lot of fun drawing. Anyway, Ariana Grande is a fairly recent one, and I used a particular grid on this, which I'm now going to revise. Now, there's a number of reasons why, but Harry Potter was from a couple of years ago and people are loving doing Harry, and that's the same kind of grid that I used for the cartoon drawings that I did, whether it's The Incredibles or anything else like that, or like Queen Barb. So, like I say, what I did for Ariana Grande is this particular grid, but I found an issue with it when somebody asked, how can I scale this up to A3? Now, one of my very early videos is how to draw Olaf, and you can see here, so I've got A, B, C, D, E down the side. I just divided the page up and made it work on this particular size, not like the grid that I did with Ariana Grande. Now they wanted to do, this is on A4 paper. A4 paper is 21 centimeters by 29.7. That's 210 millimeters by 297 millimeters. And I use, like on these, a center line down the middle. And that then meant that I've got this little border around the edge. And that made it very difficult to scale up. Using a grid means, and this isn't time honoured, don't let anybody tell you that this is cheating. No, it isn't. Professional artists through history have used grids right up to today, including major national and international portrait artists. It's just a technique to help you build your skills, and that's what I'm here to do, and that's what I love to do. So, again, just trying to stop the drawings and things from going away. So this was very difficult to actually scale up, whereas doing the grid that's on Olaf makes it a whole lot easier, because it doesn't matter whether you're working in centimeters or inches. You can do the drawing either smaller or larger than what I do on the A4 paper that I use. So what we can do is, now I'm going to go through again, I'm going to show the simpler grids for the cartoons that I did, but I also put the references up with the actual grid lines on my YouTube community channel. Please do check them out, and I will put the back catalogue up hopefully over time. But any new video that comes up, the reference with the grids on is there. So all the older ones like Ariana Grande, the BTS guys, a lot of the Harry Potter newer ones, they are this particular grid that I've used, but I'm now going to do a new one. Anyway, we are going to do this simple grid first, and you'll see me doing it in real time. So again, all of these are on the how to draw portraits playlist, and there's the how to draw general playlist as well. And so if I pull up the measurements so I can actually read them correctly to you, this here, we have a piece of paper first, and it's A4 in the center of the page. Now you can see it's white on white, and that's what I use for some of the cartoon drawings and the logos that I've done. Now, like I say, it's 21 centimeters across the top, A4 is, and down the side, you'll see this in the banner, down the side it's 29.7 or 297 millimeters. Now we need to divide it first. What I do is divide it in half. Now the paper, like I say, is 21 centimeters across, so that's 10.5. So I'm putting a line there, little mark. Now I'm doing this in pen so that you can see it, but you need to do it in pencil, and you can also do it very lightly. Now on the side it's 29.7, and we want a center line down the middle. So I'm going to just draw, I'm actually going to draw the center line in first that we've just put the marks on for, so you can see that on the page. So there we have now that full center line. Now from the top we come down and you've got 29.7 millimeters, and this is right down in this little bit down here in the bottom. Now half of 29.7 is actually quite difficult. You know, it's not an exact number. So down the side we've got to go to 148.5. So I'm lining it up, so there's 14 centimeters, there's 15, come back 2, and it's kind of halfway in between. Now I'm going to do it on this side. I'm just going to mark it up again. So you kind of need to go in between, and like I say, we've got to get to 148.5. 14, 15, come back 148, and it's in between 148 and 149. Now what you can do is place your ruler on, and we've got 30 centimeters on a ruler, and I can see that I've got 3 millimeters hanging over. So if I just move the ruler up so that there's the same amount from the beginning to the end over each side, I end up with the 15, which is half of 30, dead in the middle. And that's how you can mark it up, and you can do the same. So you put your ruler on at the top, dead in line, you've got 3 millimeters at the bottom, just move it back that 1.5 centimeters, and you can then mark in your halfway line. Now, there is our page now divided into quarters. Again, this is for the cartoon drawings. And so I've got 10.5, but this is where really you need to do the correct markings, because we've got, and you just need to get close. So coming across, we need to halve this. So 10.5, 105 millimeters, 10.5 centimeters is 5.25, 5.25 centimeters, or 52.5 millimeters. So again, there's 50, there's 55. We need the kind of halfway bit in between the 2 and the 3 millimeters. Now, over here, we have, we've got to come over to 157.5. So 150, 155, 7.5. Excuse me, coughing away. And we need to do the same down on the bottom and then draw the lines in. So we've got 52.5, 157.5 millimeters. And then we draw the lines down like we did on the center line. And now we need to do the edges. Now down the edges we have, down the side, 74.25 and 222.75 millimeters to divide this again. So we're dividing this section into half and this section into half, so we've then got quarters. So we go 74.25. So you just need to kind of just come past the 74 mark. And again, the same 222.75. So we come to the 7 and just a little bit past the line. Now, for these kind of drawings, it's kind of approximate. And so it just helps for you to actually see that you can't get it absolutely dead on these minute little lines. So again, on this side now we've got 74.25, so we've got 70 down to the 5, just past the 4, and then we've got 222.75, 222.75, so that's slightly closer to the 223. And then we want to draw the line across. So just need to check that one. I've done that one a little bit. Yeah, 222. I did this one a little bit too low. 222, that's closer to the 3.75. That little mark I did a little bit too low. I did it 227, not 222.75. And again, this is where your preparation is key. So there we have our A4 page divided up into sections, and you can see now there that I've got the lines that I've left on, so you can see on Queen Bob, and it's what we use for some of those simpler how to draw cartoon drawings, and then we use the shapes to build the image up. Now again, I used to do this on the portraits, which is why we have Harry Potter. And again, the same, you can just see the line. I've erased these quite a lot, and you can see the centre line there, but there are the lines here that allow Harry to work, and then I use the shapes the same. But this is a little bit, doing portraits like this was a little bit complex, which is why I went to the grid, which we are now going to do with Olaf. And again, I'll show you something. I mean, I can see there I've kind of, dirtied the paper a little bit, and I'll show you something on the next one, because there's a lot more lines on how to keep your paper clean while you are drawing it. So again, we're now going to come back in, and I'm going to use, so we've got Olaf, this is where it's A, B, C, D, E, and this is a bit like Battleship, so we say, right, we want a line on the C line above the 2, so it's there, or we've got the 2 line and it's between B and C, or down here is where his body parts kind of join, it's right on the 6 line, just on to the right of the B line. Makes it a lot easier than with this grid actually saying, right, we've got the 45 or the 105 or the 125 and the 145. It's a lot more complex, this is, but this is a 2 centimeter grid, and this is what we're going to use now. And you can see the difference is, so with Olaf we start right in the corner making the grid over. With this one I've got this border, which makes it a little bit difficult, whereas whether you're using metric or imperial, it doesn't matter when we go back to this, which is why I am going to use this different grid, because it will make it so much easier for everybody. Now, I need to now put these 2 centimeter grids in. And so what I'm going to do, like I say, it's A4 paper, so it's 21 centimeters across the top. So I'm starting right from the edge of the paper, and then every 2 centimeters, so there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now if I do the same down on the bottom, two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Again, you can use a lighter pencil for this because it's easier to rub out afterwards. Now, the same on the tops. So, I'm now just going to put the marks in all the way down. So it's, and you can see here we've got 1 centimetre, a thin line, and you'll see it more when we actually draw the lines in. So now we're going to do the sides, but we're going to come down. There's the 2, 4, 6, I'm desperately trying not to get my head over in front of the camera, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 and 30 is just off the paper by 3 millimeters. Now we need to do the same on this side, and then we've got the markings that we can line up. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 and 30 is obviously off the page. So now you can see we've just got these dots all the way around our paper, and then you basically just need to put your lines on and draw them up. But as you're dragging the ruler over, so let's say we do the horizontal lines first. And whichever way, it doesn't matter which way you go over the paper, you can start in the middle, you can, but you need to just do them methodically. So you draw these lines over, and that's fairly clean. And do clean the underside of your ruler, do wash it and make it clean. But then you've got, imagine when we've got vertical lines down here, you then do these and you're putting your hand on. Not only are you putting your hand on and getting grease off your hand on the paper, which can ruin your drawing, you'll also possibly be smudging your lines and dragging pencil around that you don't want. Now, I'm going to show you now first. And he says, yep, there it is. Just getting it right. Now this is a 2H pencil. And I'm just going to draw on this line here very lightly. Now, I can actually see a line there that I've just drawn, and I know that you can't. So that's how lightly you can actually draw these lines on with a pencil. Another line there. I'm now going to do a third line. And now I'm going to draw a line down the vertical. And I'm going to draw one over here. Now, I've just drawn 5 lines on there, and I don't think you can see them. But that's how you can draw them on. I draw the lines on very, very dark, and I use a 2B pencil. Let's make sure I get the right one. Yep, there's the one. So I've got 2 pencils next to each other with different grades of pencil in. But if I draw this line on here now with a pencil, and I'm drawing it next to one that I've just drawn with a 2H, now you can see that line. I draw these lines on with pencil that I can then rub out, but I have to rub out very hard, darker than you need to. So that's a good tip. You can use a 2H and draw, or you can even use one that, 2H is quite a hard pencil, but it allows you to still see the lines, and then you can rub them out afterwards much easier. Now again, like I say, you've got that pencil on and you're dragging your ruler and your hand over, you can ruin your drawing surface. You don't need to do that. Here's a fantastic little tip. Get another piece of paper that's about the length of, well, I say it's A4, about the length of your ruler. Now, I'm just getting a little bit of tape, and on the tape, like I say, just get a little bits of tape. So the ruler needs to hang over the edge of the paper. Now I'm just going to get a piece of card so you can see this. So just put this grey card in so you can see. So there's my piece of paper, and there's my ruler going on over the top, and you can see that I just have the edge leaning over a little bit past the paper. And then tape your ruler down, just a couple of bits of tape. I'm using masking tape. You can use sellotape. But then that gives you a sheet that you can move, and you're not going to smudge your pencil, you're not going to get grease down on your page. So now I'm going to do the verticals first. And it doesn't matter which way you go. You can go from left to right. It's just easy if you do them in a line. I'm doing them this way so that my hands aren't covering, so you can see the lines appearing. So you just hold down, stop the ruler from moving. There's the first line. Here is the second. And again, these are 2 centimetre squares. And this is key preparation. There's the third. And if you think old master artists did this on canvases that are many meters or many feet, you know, 3 to 5 meters wide, they took a drawing up, then this is why these techniques are so important. Here's the fourth line, and it's just a technique. There's a famous artist from Venice named Canaletto, and you need to go and check him out. He used something called a camera obscura, and he would go out in the streets of Venice, set this little box up in front of the buildings, flip the lid up, take the cap off the front of the lens, put some tracing paper on the top, and there was a mirror inside that reflected the image in front onto the tracing paper, and he just drew it very quickly, and then he took that smaller drawing back to his studio and basically projected it onto his canvases, and that's how he could paint the scenes that he did, as accurately as he did. So that's direct tracing. That's not even using grids. That was a clever gentleman doing amazing art. But there are loads of grids used by artists in history. John Constable did it. If you check out the Olaf video, the link is in the description and in the cards. I'll show you John Constable in there, how he used this grid system to take a small sketch up to a large canvas. And again, it's not cheating. So there we've now got, this is the last line of the vertical lines. And I'll name these A, B, C. In fact, I'll use the paper so I don't get my hand dirty on it. D, E, F, G, H, I and J. Now we're going to do the horizontal lines, and this is just where it makes it easy. Your hand is now not going to put grease on your paper, and this is a brilliant technique. So there's the first line, there's the second, there is the third, there is the fourth. And the thing that I like about using this grid system, I've seen people now, and I've put a slideshow up of the work that people have done using these techniques already. And you know, people tag me with drawing, hashtag drawing with Billy, and every few months I'll put another slideshow up, because it's a joy to see people enjoying it. And I've seen people, young and old, absolute beginners, drawing faces, and this information was not freely available when I was learning to draw. So here, as I say, I was just going down the page, and it's this preparation that makes it absolutely key to your drawing, because it allows you to put the shapes in. And people go, oh, you've just got to do it freehand. Well, yeah, okay, that's up to you. And there are some brilliant portrait artists who do everything completely freehand, but not everybody does. And the majority of people who do very hyper-real work, they are either tracing using a light box. It's that simple. And the bottom one isn't 2 centimeters. So there you can see we've now got all of our lines down. So coming down, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines. So that's 28 centimeters with a little bit, and then I've got 1 centimeter there. Now, if you use this grid in this way, like I say, I've used 2 centimeters. This is how you can build it up. You could use 1 centimeter, and then the last one is 0.5 centimeter, and it's half the size. You want to go up to A3. Each square has got to be 28.2, but that's a bit hard, so just do every square of the main ones across 28 millimeters, 2.8 centimeters, and you can build it up. if you want to really go bigger, you can double it, and you could go, oh, well, I'll do 4 centimeters, and then the end one here would be 2 centimeters, or you could do 5 centimeters, the end line here would be 2.5, and just, you just kind of work out the bottom bit down there, because that's wiggly because it's 17 millimeters. Or you could go absolutely massive and you go, I want each square 10 centimeters and it's going to be a huge drawing, and that's what you do. You can scale this up so much better. Now that's in metric. If you're imperial, this is 2 centimeters. You could do it 1 inch. So all you need to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inches of lines, and then 14 inches of lines down the side, and you have got the same. And then this end line, it's 1/2 inch, and again you can wiggle a bit at the bottom, but that's your border, so it's not that important. You can even just do it to 15 inches if you want to, because you're working using the grid. That's how simple it is. Or if you want it bigger, you could go, right, I'm going to do 2 inches. This last line, it's half the size, it's going to be 1 inch. Or you could do 6 inches, the last line will be 3 inches. And that's how simple it is. You just make every square the same, and this will make your drawing so much easier. Again, I'm doing this to help you and encourage you. I hope you're having fun. I'm having a blast teaching you all. Again, please do like and subscribe, share the videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next drawing lesson. Take care. Ta-da.